Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the late start on commentary here, but did manage to finally break through all the Discord errors and got in somehow. So yeah, we have a pretty cool match right now. We got Rywek versus WallKicks. This is game 1 of round 1, so none of these guys have been advanced to the winners or losers bracket just yet. But they are trying to fight to get an edge in this game 1 and possible advantage for game 2, which will be happening right after this. So if you enjoyed this game, stick around because they're going to be playing game 2 right after this. So yeah, we're going to try to make sure we're going to get all the trackers up to date, and we'll start looking at what we got going on here. So this being game 1, we have the very standard settings: open mode, 7/7 crystals, defeat Ganon, hints off, all those wonderful settings that we saw through all the qualifiers. And it looks like right now, let's see, we got some pretty sweet items on the table right now. As far as dungeon layout, looks like we have a 5/6 crystal at Eastern, a regular crystal at Desert, and a green pendant at Hera. So yeah, it looks like our tracker is up to date at this point, so that's all we have. The map tracker is also up to date as well. So it looks like for our Dark World access right now, we have our Moon Pearl and we have our glove. So we're still looking for either a second glove upgrade or the hammer so we can get there. And then we can maybe find out the rest of the dungeons we need to tackle. And then from that point on, we can start working towards the finish line. Rywek's going to be checking the front of Escape here, and WallKicks is going to be checking Agina's Cave. Going to find the blue boomerang here in Agina's Cave. Nothing that progresses the seed forward, but it is something they can use. Yeah, looks like Rywek's going to be using some Kana Samaria strats for getting through the front side of Escape here. And looks like WallKicks is going to be heading over to the Eastern Palace area. Gonna probably check the back of Sahasrar's closet, and then could potentially dip into Eastern. There are some items there, potentially. We are still looking for that hammer and glove, as we mentioned before. Oh, well, there's the hammer right there, and the Master Sword, as well as the Cane of Burna. Wow. Got some really, really nice items there in the back of his closet. And yeah, WallKick's going to actually abandon the Eastern play, which makes sense. You have Dark World access, and we also have the Mirror, too. So if we do happen to find a bow early on in the Dark World, we can actually use the neat little Mirror combination to take care of both Eastern and Palace of Darkness at the same exact time. Oh, but it looks like Pod is going to be a pendant as well as Turtle Rock. I did not see what the other 5/6 crystal was. Looks like Ice Palace is the red crystal. Sweet. And checking out Hype Cave now, we got some money, a lot of money. And a bee in a bottle. We already got a bottle, so that won't really help us too much for Sick Kid, but always good to have another one for safeties, just in case. So WallKicks gonna check out Stumpy's item next. Just a red rupee on there. And with that nice mirror, we can actually check some of these mirror spots pretty early in our Dark World access. Just a red rupee here, so nothing in K45. And now it's going to be going over here to the digging game. Has plenty of rupees, so we'll not need to spend a whole lot of these, and he'll get a lot of rupees back as well. And looks like Rywek is heading over to the Eastern Palace area. He will pick up the hammer and the Master Sword in the back of the closet, so he'll be able to get the Dark World access as well. Fortunately, nothing really at the digging game either. So it looks like WallKicks is going to make his way to the village once again, and probably going to take care of the Dark World access on this side of the world. From here, he'll be able to do a couple of different things. Thieves Town is fully open and completable for him right now. It is a crystal. We need to do it, and it's normally a pretty good place to start as well. But looks like before WallKicks is going to go to Thieves Town, going to also check out the Skull Woods dungeon. There's going to be 2 items in here. Cannot complete the dungeon yet because he doesn't have the fire rod, but I always like to see Skull Woods as kind of one of those almost overworld checks, just because there's so many items in the front, only 2 in the back. You have a chance to find both of them before you even need to go to the back anyway, so not bad to check this out early. And look, there's both items right there, so we can already leave and start looking for some other things now. So anyway, WallKicks is now checking out the Village of Outcast checks. We get 10 bombs here in the C-shaped house. And we got a big 300 in the brewery. So now we'll take a look at the chest game. Just some bombs. So if there's going to be any value here in the Village of Outcasts, it's going to be most likely in Thieves Town, because we can't get to any of the other checks around this area just yet. So that's what WallKicks is going to do next. Looks like Rywek coming over here to check out the magic bats. So anyways, since we kind of came into this match, at least if you're just now joining us, had a little difficulty with Discord and kind of getting all this match set up. There are some interesting developments in the seed so far. As you can see, Rywek has a red cane that WallKicks does not have. That was actually at Zora. And apparently there's also a bow on the Zora ledge, so that's going to be 2 items that our runners are going to need to get for this seed, so definitely good to keep those in mind. WallKicks, just the location in general, as he does find the lamp here in Thieves Town. So hopefully WallKicks doesn't put off Zora for too long, because there'll be 2 very, very relevant items in there. So it looks like Rywek is going to be heading south from the get-go. Not going to check out Skullwitch just yet. He'll be joining WallKicks in Thieves Town very shortly. But like WallKicks, he's going to probably go through all these Village of Outcasts checks first. Okay, so we found just a red rupee here in the attic of Thieves Town. So now WallKicks is going to go to the quote-unquote second half of the dungeon. The basement of the dungeon. Going to rescue the maiden, take on Blind, and we'll see how that goes. Rywek just finds a compass in that chest. The only thing of note he's going to find in this first half is the lamp, though, so... as we've already seen WallKicks make it through there. Well, there is the small key to Thieves Town that will pretty much force WallKicks to head over here to the left so he can open the big chest. And get some half magic. Not bad. Definitely not required for the seed, but definitely good to have, especially for some of those kind of late game bosses that require magic. So now WallKicks is going to be taking on Blind. Let's see how he deals with this scripted fight here. Not a bad start. Okay, really nice, really nice. And WallKicks says objection. You have been defeated and gets the flippers. Really, really nice find. Alright, so that is going to give WallKicks his first crystal of the seed. Rywek not too far behind. He still has to go get the maiden and bring him to the boss room, but you know, I kind of foresee both these runners kind of making the next couple of checks very similarly. I guess Rywek could go north to Skullwoods to start working on that if he wants, but we'll have to see. So honestly, finding the flippers might actually be pretty good for WallKicks because of what we know is in the Zora area right now. He can pick up the cane at Zora and also that bow, and getting the bow would put 2 more crystals on the table, both Eastern and Pod, and we have the mirror to make accessing both of them very, very quick. So WallKicks could be considering that. Looks like he is heading north, so he could be going to Graveyard Ledge and then over to Catfish Mirror and then start taking care of all that stuff. So the routing's definitely kind of working out for him in that way. So let's go ahead and see how Rywek's fight's going to go with Blind. I'll keep my eye on WallKicks to see what's going to be in that Graveyard Ledge. Not a bad fight from Rywek, gets his flippers. Also, WallKicks manages to pick up the red mail inside Graveyard Ledge. Oh, that's right, yeah, Palace of Darkness dependent. I mean, there's still a lot of items in there, though. My mistake about that. Okay, it looks like WallKicks is actually heading up the mountain, which I do kind of understand this play, because if we look at Tower of Hera, it is the green pendant, which means that will technically give us another item to check in the eastern area whenever we go to clear out eastern. And, you know, we have all the stuff we have to do on Death Mountain. It's a very quick dungeon. We can very quickly knock all those things out at once, so I can definitely understand and get behind this play. I'm almost wondering if Rywek is going to kind of make that play to go to Catfish area first, just because he knows what's over there. Looks like he is heading that way, though. Well, actually, it looks like Rywek is also going to be heading up the mountain as well. Ooh, okay, there seems to be another sword upgrade on the Death Mountain Lonely Island. Can't get that yet, but once we find the mitts, that is going to be perfectly right there. It's also nice because if you feel kind of comfortable using Master Sword, like through the normal dungeon bosses of the game, you can actually just save that sword till the very end when you're going up Ganon's tower if for some reason you haven't found another sword yet. So, not a bad location for a sword to be. It takes a little while to get because of all the transitions, but still, it's that saying, knowledge is power. So we're taking a look at Paradox Cave now. And Rywek's actually going into Tower of Hera, something WallKicks did not do. WallKicks does find the boots here in Paradox Cave. What are those indeed? So yeah, looks like we do not have the big key, so going to be taking a little bit of a coffee break here. And I am being joined by Hammerbro right now. He's going to help me commentate the rest of the seed. Welcome in. Hope you've been watching this race.
Whew, I have done my best, but it's been a little crazy here. I am talking from my phone, so sorry if it sounds like a potato. I've caught some of it, but not all, so I'm currently catching up with the tracker and that sort of thing.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Right now, I'd say the big takeaway, because both of our runners have kind of been following each other in their footsteps pretty closely. The one major difference is Rywek did take a trip to the Zora area, is aware of a bow on Zora Ledge, and then also pulled the cane off of Zora himself. So that's kind of the difference we're seeing right now, is we do find the cape here in Tower of Hera, so that's another item. We know it doesn't lead to anything progression-wise, but it's a pretty good safety to have alongside them.
Awesome, so it looks like we do have Dark World access, so that's at least Aghanim that we're not going to have to be concerned with.
Mm-hmm, yeah, definitely. And wow, the second item in Tower of Hera right next to the first item, just 50 rupees in the big chest, so all Rywek has to do now is just finish the boss, but that's all he really had to do anyway, so I guess it's still a full clear of Hera regardless.
Full clear of a green pendant Hera, no less. That's kind of interesting.
Yes. Hey, with the knowledge of that bow, at least for oh my gosh, that was quite the bounce. But yeah, at least that knowledge for Rywek of the bow and where that's going to be, that's going to definitely incentivize him to go back to Eastern, clear that up, and then also turn in the pendant too. So, not too bad.
So I assume that splash deletion was not an option once Rywek went over to check Zora, obviously, since Rywek does not have them.
Yes, I believe so.
Cool. So pretty much at this point, we're grabbing Green Pendant. He's going to go grab his bow. And then with the mirror, actually, we might have an Eastern pod double clear.
Yeah, there is definitely that possibility. We have noted that pod is a pendant, but that's still 5 items in there at this point, and definitely not something you want to neglect.
Right. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised to see Rywek, especially upon grabbing that bow, deciding to at least come in through the Dark World and then maybe see what Eastern Palace decides to give him, and then perhaps run into Pod afterwards or not, depending on what sort of stuff he gets from that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, WallKicks, because WallKicks has already done the east side of Death Mountain. He did that before jumping into Hera. He's going to actually take this opportunity to check out Spike Cave, so we'll see if this actually comes up with anything. Meanwhile, Rywek is going down Spiral Cave and going to go through Paradox, going to get his boots from Paradox Cave, so he'll be able to go just as fast as WallKicks is going, as WallKicks does find a bottled fairy inside the treasure chest, which is a pretty opportune item to be given in Spike Cave.
Yeah, it's somewhat ironic at the very least. It's like, oh, thanks. Well, I'm saving quitting, so I don't really need that, but yeah, I guess I'll.
Yeah, I mean, it's a safety. You're never going to say no to a safety, so. Unless you see like a male on a ledge and decide to not grab it, but that's different.
Well, yeah, because at that point, the safety requires further work. It's versus just being handed one.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so WallKicks is going north. Let's see if he goes right here. Okay, nope, he's going to continue his way northward. This is going to be good for him. Going to check out the pyramid first, but I imagine after this he'll be going to Catfish, which means all those lovely Zora items that we found earlier, WallKicks is going to be able to grab all of them. So that's going to be good for him. He'll get that intel. He'll get that item that he's kind of lacking compared to Rywek right now, and could decide to dip Pod and Eastern, but I guess he hasn't done the front of Escape yet, so he's going to do that first. Or at least Dark Cross anyway.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's completely in logic right now. So if you haven't done it before, you got the boots now. It's going to be a quick check. Might as well go after it.
Yeah, they didn't have the lamp wasn't until they got to Thieves Town. So yeah, this is officially in logic now. Earlier, I'm guessing didn't want to brave the dark rooms, which I do not blame him one bit for making that decision.
That was a fancy little piece of routing there, swinging in the back of Escape along with the pyramid check. I don't see that very often at all. So nice heads up.
Yeah, I remember that was one of the first things I saw like people doing a lot when open mode was first revealed to the public, and it was just, it's such a good idea because oh wow, WallKicks got kind of stuck in the wall right there, but he did manage to make it out. But yeah, being able to route an early check like the front of Escape in with the pyramid with the mirror, it's really really smart to do, honestly. So definitely one of those advantages to putting off Escape, just because you can maybe do that later.
Yeah, it also kind of drives home some of the difference between doing a standard race where you're starting off in Escape and an open race where everything's just kind of wide open from the start, because then you can get weird stuff like that you wouldn't in a standard race.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, Rywek also going to be going up north, going to grab his catfish item and then pick up the bow as well. And after that, both of our runners will be pretty much even, it looks like. So, yeah, this is going to be exciting to see where they go next. If there's going to be even more of the same plays or if they're going to actually make a divergence coming up here.
Yeah, we're still missing quite a bit, so we're fairly early on. Nowhere really near go mode yet. Still needing, at the very least, to my eyes, hook shots definitely going to be needed, mitts are definitely going to be needed, and then at least one medallion of some sort on top of flute, fire rods. We've still got a bit to go, but
Yeah.
this seed has clearly been dragging them around a little bit. And there's a cane. All right, cool. So Zora wasn't a waste of time this go around. That's new.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the bow seems to be like the first item we're getting in that like top left-hand portion of the item menu. When they were opening their menu earlier, it just seems like, wow, they really are missing a lot. Just a huge section is like not even filled in yet. So yeah, we got quite a bit to go here in this seed for sure.
Yeah, and I saw Hype Cave earlier, if I remember correctly, and that was complete and total trash.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So it does look like we're going to get that pod Eastern clear. Not sure how much of pod we will do, but I feel like that is going to be imminent for our runners upon having the bow and the hammer.
Yeah, normally when you have like every item to not only full clear a dungeon, but also all logical items with the lamp, you just got to really be thinking that the game is telling me to kind of stay in this area and go here. So that looks like to be what our runners are doing right now. Looks like Rywek's going to be getting a bit of a head start in all of this, and we'll also probably, yeah, he's picking up his mirror, so we will be seeing the green pendant turn in as well.
Yeah, it makes sense. That maze takes you right in front of Sahasrah's door, so you might as well just drop it off while you.
So what are we going to get from the old man today? Just a red rupee.
I feel like that's kind of a ripoff, you know? We went through the entire Tower of Hera, took off some worm that just wanted to murder us for no good reason, and we got 20 bucks for it.
Yeah, I guess Hyrule's extermination department just doesn't really get paid very well, I guess.
It makes sense given that we run around in people's houses and steal all their stuff for a living.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so wow. Oh, okay, no, they're both going to Eastern first. Okay, makes sense, especially if they haven't really checked this yet.
Yeah, because what you don't want to do is go through pod, not really get anything, and then go through Eastern and get, like, the mitts and the fire rod, and then be like, well, I would have never stopped in here had I known that Eastern was going to give me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But this is pretty great because we'll see both of our runners essentially be in a room apart from each other for probably a good part of the rest of the seed at this point.
Yeah, definitely staying really close so far, so that's always nice to see.
Who unfortunately gets that middle Stalfos to spawn, but takes care of him very quickly with the bow. Meanwhile, WallKicks gets the perfect setup on that, so he does make up a couple of seconds and is even closer to Rywek now.
Yeah, when you have a situation like this where the runners are only a couple seconds from each other, you can really see the ebb and flow and all the tiny little mistakes and makeups that are made back and forth.
Yeah, like right there, WallKicks was able to use the spin speed to actually get some distance there, and now he's like literally just 2 seconds behind Rywek right now.
Yep, and then there's going to be Stelphos RNG in this room, and that'll be fun. Not really bothering either of them, though, so that's nice. The very.
Well, now it's like even less than a second difference now.
And at this point, we're basically synced.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, if they finished the run right now, like, they would have the exact same time, even if it's not, like, perfectly in sync.
Yeah, it would at least be a second, but it's going to be close. So, and Eastern's probably not going to do a whole lot to change that difference in similarity right now. Eastern's not terribly difficult enough to give either of our runners any hiccup.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, so here comes a blink and you'll miss it fight on either side. If you miss the first part of it from Rywek, then you'll get to see a really, really quick repeat on WallKicks side, but it isn't going to take too long either.
No, definitely not. Even if you, like, don't get, like, the quick kill on Armos, it's still a fairly quick fight anyway. And wow, okay, both of them picking up the mitts at the same exact time. Both get their second crystal at the same exact time. That's going to give us some more Dark World access now.
Yeah, so that will be interesting. With them picking up the mitts, they may not choose to go into pod afterwards. It'll be interesting to see if we have an agreement here, or if one goes one way and the other one decides not to. Never mind, both into pod.
Yeah, I guess they both agreed to go into pod instead. Which, as we said earlier, pod is 5 items, so, you know, there's still plenty of value in here to check. And I guess when you think about what has opened up with those myths, I mean, you really just have the Smith Chain and also, like, Dark Death Mountain. There's still, like, a lot of dungeons we still need to find items for, like Hookshot. We still need the Flute for the Mire area, so there's still, you know, quite a bit blocked off, so another item probably wouldn't hurt before we start kind of heading in a different direction.
Alrighty, my computer actually connected, so now I don't sound like a potato. I hopefully sound less like one.
Well, looks like they're even, like, going with similar pod routing as well, too.
Well, pod's one of those places that kind of, where you get the small keys more or less dictates how you run it, so I'm not terribly surprised to see them doing basically the same thing here.
Yeah, that is fair. I know I've also seen, like, some runners in some cases try to maybe skip, like, the big key chest because there could be a potential key for a key scenario on that. So that's where some differences can come into play. But yeah, for the most part, you usually see similar routing.
Yep, and I would dare say the routing we're seeing is very, very similar.
Yes, exactly.
It'll be interesting to see if they both choose to full clear this, or at what point they decide to forego it. Because I haven't really... Yeah, we've got both of our dungeon items, so our buddy Helmasaur is going to have an item.
Yeah, at this point he will, definitely. I guess it depends on like what else they find in here. Like that flute that Rywek just found. That could be a sign where like maybe I don't want to go after Helmasaur. Maybe we have an item we can work with. Maybe we should start working on that. So we'll have to see.
Right, because the flute with the mitts, and the fact they have the mirror, that's going to open up both Mire area and Desert Palace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, no medallions yet, so we won't know if we probably won't be able to access Mire unless we find any. But yeah, that definitely Desert Palace. That'd be a good play. 2 items there, so that could be a potential play.
It's interesting. We have another seed where we're fairly late in, and still no Fire Rod. I've been noticing that a lot lately.
Oh, and Rywek, actually, he's saving and quitting out of here. He's not going to fight Helmasaur.
So this could end up being a disaster if Helmasaur has something, because this is going to be a super orphan to check at this point.
Hmm. But yeah, it is definitely worth pointing out what the chat was actually talking about here. WallKicks did actually correctly read the key logic and knew that there was going to be a key behind another small key door. So as a result, he was able to kind of pull ahead of Rywek a bit. But now that Rywek's actually decided to follow this flute now as opposed to finishing the dungeon, that's going to, once again, just turn the scales right back in the other direction. Assuming there is nothing on Helmasaur anyway.
Yep, as long as Helmasaur and our chat favorite location, Pedestal, are things that end up dead, this will not end up in a WallKicks favor. But if Helmasaur drops something, this could be a situation of someone getting randoed, basically.
Yeah, and looking at like what our other pendant that we have, it's Turtle Rock, and at this point we need both rods to make that an option. There's still a lot of items aside those 2 rods we need, so Pedestal could very much still be on the table.
Yeah, this seed's gonna end up being interesting in the next 20 minutes, I feel.
For sure. We'll see. One of those things right now is WallKicks is fighting Helmasaur King. If he gets an item from this, a very important item, that's going to be a while before Rywek comes back to grab what's ever on here.
Yeah, if you want to truly get into a randomizer setting, this would be where WallKicks gets the medallion for Turtle Rock.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely. Just a vanilla heart container, though.
Yeah, not what WallKicks was hoping for, but not a big deal in the grand scheme of things.
As you mentioned, Pedestal could still come into play, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, don't quote me on that. The odds are not in my favor.
I know, but still, it's something to think about. It's something that WallKicks is still. That's probably one of the reasons why he went for it, because he knew that, well, even if this is nothing, if Pedestal's something, that could still be a big advantage. So,
right, you're basically doing 1 item check and then the potential for a 2nd item check. Because if you go in there and if you don't take out that boss, and there's something on Ped, you're pretty much gonna last location that.
Yeah, pretty much like how Rywek would feel if that does end up being something.
Thankfully, the flute making this an expedient set of checks for our Smith chain.
Yeah, definitely. Oh
boy.
And yes, we can. We can do Swamp Palace now.
Yep, so looks like we might get Swamp Palace and then an attempt at a Mire Desert duo should the medallion pop up.
Yeah, it's almost been 1 hour into this seed, and we still don't have a single medallion, so we can't even just, like, you know, make a play for, like, we have the medallion, we can go there. We can't even do that.
Yep, and go ahead, chat, get your cheese and quackers ready because the duck is about to be unstuck on WallKicks side here.
And it looks like Rywek is, or not Rywek, WallKicks is following the flute immediately, so Smith Chain was going to be kind of, I don't want to say orphaned, but it will be there for a while. But we'll at least get some intel here. Looks like the Meyer medallion we'll see after we check the Meyer shed.
Yeah, it'll probably be here anyways. Doesn't really matter.
Under the door.
Speaking of items, I think we just got the boots. Alright, so anyways, our runners are headed through their respective dungeons at this point. So, Desert is boots locked. That obviously not mattering since both of our runners do have the boots. Alright, WallKicks already making his way through the back. Rywek deciding to head straight to the back of the swamp, so we might do a left side check afterwards.
Yeah, it does seem like runners are still very hesitant to go back and check that left side, but it feels bad when you don't check it, and there is something there. Well, there is a medallion, the Ether medallion, here in Swamp Palace. And that is the medallion we need for Meyer, too.
Of course it is. WallKicks going for a hammer-based land mode. That is not easy.
Oh, it's not. The hammer hitbox is already pretty bad on a, like, motionless enemy. And, oh, there's the fire rod on Landmo.
Alright, so this is an interesting set of possibilities. So at this point, we don't need a whole lot more for go mode.
Yeah, we really don't. In fact,
we might be in it, actually.
I think we're in it. If it is Meyer medallion, Ether. Yeah, it is. Okay, so yep.
Wow, and just like that, go mode snuck up on us.
It really did. And, I mean, both of our runners know where a Tempered Sword is, so if they don't want to do Master Sword, they don't have to. We have one on the Death Mountain Island. They can just pick that up right before they go to Ganon's Tower.
That'll be an interesting gamble and see if one of them does that and the other one kind of hopes for a GT sword instead.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like, yeah, Rywek is not checking the right left side, which, as we know, that's going to be a good decision.
Yep, and Rywek will very soon discover it's a good decision if he heads over and does Meyer area, which most likely is going to occur after this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing WallKicks still needs, though, is the hook shot from Purple Chest. So that could be an interesting little pain.
Yeah, looks like he's going in Ice Palace, too. Ice Palace is kind of interesting, especially when it comes to that hook shot, because, you know, depending on the logic of where the keys are going to end up being, that hook shot could be logically required to complete this.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that certain runners are able to keep track of better than others. I struggle doing it even when I'm not running Ice Palace, so I don't even really worry about it if I am doing my own run, but I don't know where WallKicks is going to be in terms of confidence for Ice Palace key logic and the like.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, unfortunately, with just, you know, Master Sword, you know, no hook shots, gonna have to take care of some of these penguins with different strats. So that's gonna be, you know, a little more time. Actually, Rywek will just be go moding this, so you won't even be worrying about that. It does look like Rywek is going to be taking on Misery and Meyer first, so this will pretty much be a full clear on his part.
Yeah, the only way that Rywek wouldn't be go moding Ice Palace is if we get something terrible like, I don't know, Bombo's medallion in here, and then he decides to go to Ice Palace straight from there.
Yeah, and I don't think that's very likely on his end, because Desert is just right there, so...
WallKicks pulling off the alternate way to simultaneously murder a bunch of pen gators and then dashing away because, as well, we all know, cool guys don't look at explosions. So at this point, it's not terrible because Rywek is going to be go moding a dungeon he doesn't need to, and WallKicks will as well. So depending on where that big key is in Meyer, we could be looking at a similar amount of time wasted between the two.
Yeah, that is fair. And then again, just based on the items that Rywek has found, Meyer did make probably more sense to check out first, so I definitely understand it. It's just that, again, we know where the fire rod ended up being, but the runners don't, so we can't really pin that on them.
Yeah, that's what spoiler log races are for. Then you can pin it on them. Meyer so far stringing Rywek along.
Yeah, looks like he's going to be going all the way to the big key chest, which, whenever this happens to me when I play this, whenever I make this play, it's always ending up being in the chest, like to the left of the big chest anyway, so...
Yeah, but if you do a full clear of everything else, then it'll be sitting back here, and you'll feel like an extra amount of ding just for doing it.
Oh, of course, yeah, definitely. because Rando's gonna Rando. But yeah, looking at WallKicks side, he did get a key pretty early, so that's gonna basically take the hook shot requirement out of the logic here. So should be able to get all of the items without too much trouble. Oh, there we go. Oh, there's the another bow inside Ice Palace.
That's an interesting find.
It really is, because if Rywek's going to be go-moding Ice Palace, he will more than likely not be getting that bow, so he's going to be doing silverless, while WallKicks will have silvers.
You know, that could also determine which one of them, if either, decides to go grab that sword upgrade.
Mm-hmm. The first things first, though, that hook shot, that's going to be a big thing for WallKicks in his run now. We'll need to, at some point, make his way over there, because the more he looks at other dungeons, the longer he could be without it. As we get the Bombos medallion, that could end up being our Turtle Rock medallion.
Also, very nearly had a death there on Cold Stare, and that would have been not fun.
Yeah, death on Cold Stare is never fun. And there we go. That is crystal number 4 for Rywek. And WallKicks also has 4 crystals as well, and looks like he's going to be heading over to Skull Woods next.
So this would then be the time to turn around and do the Smith Chain, if WallKicks so chooses to, in an expedite fashion.
Which, yeah, would not be a bad idea, because, I mean, at this point, like, all the dungeons he'd have left at this point would be uncompletable, and inaccessible as well. So, yeah, that would be a good time to route that in after this. And also, Rywek is still in Mire. I guess he did not find the second item, so he's going to be going over here to get this last item, which is just a red rupee. We are done with Mire.
Yep, and likewise, the longer that Rywek goes without running into Swamp and grabbing the Fire Rod from there, the more dungeons he will be full clearing and handling that he does not need to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so WallKicks taking on Mothula now.
Yep, meanwhile, Rywek is just blasting through desert. You know, the spikes are really, really active on this particular Mothula fight.
Does get him down, though.
Yeah, the 11 hearts in red mail most definitely help in that regard.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Spike still hurt, but Moth Heal only does, I believe, half a heart of damage on red mail, so you can tank a couple hits.
Okay, so this is where we're going to see what WallKicks decided to do. First, going to be taking the book that he found to see what is on the pedestal just in case. We know it's nothing, just a little piece of love, though. Okay, so WallKicks is footing back to 3, so this is looking good for him to go towards the blacksmith chain. And there we go. Rywek is officially in go mode at this point.
And not too much to clear at this point, so it will be fairly quick from this point forward.
Yep, just got the back of Skull Woods to take care of, and then a go mode of Ice Palace, both of which are very, very quick. Meanwhile, WallKicks needs to go south towards the blacksmith chain, probably where he is going next. Yeah, looks that way. He still has to get through Swamp Palace and Misery Mire. We'll have to go through quite a bit in Misery Mire to get that big key, but you know, not too terribly long dungeons. Not like we have to go through Turtle Rock or anything, but I would say advantage Rywek right now because WallKicks does have to also get the Ether Medallion inside Swamp, but still not, you know, terribly. It's still pretty close even with that.
Yeah, and keep in mind, those silvers in his back pocket are going to help quite a bit endgame.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Alright, so WallKicks just a couple of checks away here from grabbing the lovely hook shot, which will then lead them towards Swamp Palace.
Swamp Palace and that Ether Medallion as well.
I swear, Skull Woods picked the enemies in those rooms to just be the most annoying combination they could manage.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you have that Wall Master in the background too, just laughing maniacally, waiting for his chance to shine.
There we go. Those spikes, again, not being friendly for Rywek, ended up deflecting a lot of those fire rod shots.
And there we go. WallKicks gets his hook shot. Not quite in go mode, but assuming he just goes through Swamp normally next, should be finding that Ether Medallion very, very soon.
Yep, an interesting possibility here is whether or not WallKicks decides to do left side swamp.
Yeah, that would be. I feel like because he's only looking for one item at this point, but that's, you know, may have the incentive to skip it, but we'll have to we'll have to see.
Yeah, people have very interesting ideas about Swamp and how best to clear it and that sort of thing. So it'll be interesting. I haven't seen WallKicks play very much, so it'll be interesting to see what he does here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like in a scenario like this, you're one item for go mode. Even if there's 2 items on left side, like, you still probably want to just go through the dungeon normally, just to avoid that time sink. Now, if you're looking for 2 items, then yeah, maybe a different story. Maybe you check that along the way as you're going through it, because, again, that's just... that's a chance where you get ahead of your opponent if your opponent decides to skip it, so... Definitely a lot of schools of thought go into this, and these races in general.
Yeah, and the amusing part is that a lot of this just comes down to what you're feeling at that particular moment. A lot of people don't have cold, hard procedures that they follow for Swamp.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, quick reminder again, this is game 1 for these 2, and game 2 will actually be happening right after this on the same exact channel. Which means they probably won't be in for an interview. I could be wrong if they decide to stop in quickly, but I'm pretty sure this is a doubleheader, so it's going to immediately go to the next game right after this. So if you want to see how game 2 goes for these 2, definitely stick around after the race finishes.
Yeah, doubleheaders are crazy. I have no idea how the runners manage it and manage to keep stuff in their head in a competitive setting.
I can't either. I can't do 2 seeds in the same day, even if there's like 5 hours in between them. My brain just melts that easily, but you know, kudos and props to these runners for being able to just do so many seeds in just such a short period of time, and just have the mental capacity for it, because I definitely can't.
Yeah, that's fair. It's amazing. Like, there are some days that I can manage it. Oh, that ice block was really a troll right there. There are some days I can manage to do 2 seeds in a row, but there's some days it's just not happening. And to just sign up for 2 seeds knowing that, yeah, you'll be able to do it no matter what, that's just crazy to me.
And Rywek finishes up Cold Stare, gets that Bomb Boast Medallion, and I believe that is also our 7th crystal. So in chat, go ahead, post all your numbers, everybody, because we're going to try to find that Ganon's Tower big key. We don't have any bot working or anything, but we still do it for fun, just because it's fun to speculate where that key is going to end up being. And a lot of races have honestly come down to that big key hunt, so definitely an exciting part of all these races here. So we'll have to see where that ends up.
Yeah, there are a lot of variances in how you can run GT routing, so it's really interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm. And looking at both of our runners, they have the boots, they have Samaria. We're not going to be in a position where we have to leave to get another item to finish the game. They're just going to be going straight there. It is worth mentioning, though, we do know where a 3rd sword upgrade is on the Death Mountain secluded island. We'll see if Rywek decides to pick that up. I personally would, but who knows? Maybe Rywek feels super comfortable with that Master Sword.
I feel like with a lack of silvers on Rywek's side, he would be more likely to pick up the Tempered Sword than WallKicks would. WallKicks might just go, well, Master Sword silvers is fine, or might be more likely to make a gamble and, well, I'm probably going to get a Tempered Sword in Ganon's Tower, and if I don't, no big deal, but runners, even of this caliber, tend to prefer not doing a full-on spin cycle Ganon with silverless Master Sword.
I know I wouldn't. So, yep. Okay, Rywek lifting the stone. He's gonna see what's inside. It can honestly even be fun. Oh yeah, I was actually gonna suggest this. Yeah, he's actually gonna check the chest in here because if he does find another sword inside Hookshot Cave, don't need to worry about getting that other one.
Yeah, and it's honestly only about maybe 10, maybe, well, now that he's fallen, maybe 15, 20 seconds to check all 4 of those chests. Might choose to skip that one now. Yeah, not
Yeah.
surprising.
But yeah, something else to kind of put at the tail end of, talking about these runners doing 2 races, back to back. It's also worth noting that this tournament is filled with a lot of people from across the globe. So because of that, just, finding the time to schedule these races is obviously, pretty difficult. And, the fact that in some cases you might have to pull off a doubleheader just really shows that how willing these runners are to just take on the challenge of this tournament, even schedule wise, doing back-to-back seeds wise, just a bunch of different things.
Yeah, most definitely. And not only that, but these runners absolutely destroy these seeds.
Oh, they
By
do.
and large, they just demolish them. Even the really terrible ones, I'm sitting here going, okay, that would have taken me 2.5 hours, and you did it in an hour and 45 minutes, and that was a terrible seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so really quick, do you have a guess for the big key?
I always go 8.
Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and go 17, because that is vanilla big key, and that's usually what I go for, because I'm kind of a jerk, but not a super jerk, so we'll go from there.
Fair enough.
Sorry, guys, Bob does not live today.
Yep. Sorry, Bob. We need those small keys. Oh, well, there's another sword upgrade, so, if WallKicks does skip that tempered sword, you'll get one, but...
Yeah, Rywek probably thinking to themselves, if I hadn't gone into Hookshot Cave and gotten that tempered sword, I wouldn't be seeing a sword here in Ganon's Tower, but because I did, well, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, WallKicks grabbing their penultimate big key for this game. Meanwhile, Rywek is just continuing to plow through the basement of Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, we're getting ready to come up to chest number 9, so my guess of 8 was wrong, but someone else could be right.
Alright, and here comes Rando Room, so-called because, well, you only see this room in Randomizer.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, in the vanilla game, this room is just like a small little stockpot room where you can get, like, bombs and arrows and stuff. But yeah, it becomes so much more valuable in Randomizer when literally, like, actual items and the big key can be here. Also, the ice rod is in here.
Oh, well, we gotta turn around and go do Trinax, right?
Yeah. We'll just change this to all dungeons.
No, don't do all dungeons. That would make them do Aghanim. That's no fun.
Fair enough. But I mean,
Meanwhile, we are 13 through right now. Still got quite a few more to check. And starting with that one is going to be the famed Bob's chest. Unfortunately, no Bob today, but we could still keep the chest named after him if you like. Alright, so we get to see the new winter production, Armos on Ice.
And with that, WallKicks gets his 7th crystal here in the big key room. It's not here, it's on right side, so WallKicks could get some time back if he decides to go a full right scenario.
And apparently I wasn't enough of a jerk because we are 17 through and still no big key.
Okay, I'm sending my energy to Rywek right now. Don't do it, don't do it. Good. Okay, he's not doing tile room.
What do you mean? That's where it is.
I mean, probably, but...
At this point, technically, there is a 20% chance it's going to be in tile room, given what we know and do not know. So we'll get to see right here.
Nice kick of the Samaria block over there to hit that crystal. Here we go. Is it tile room? It is not, so... I believe that's 20... No, 19.
No, it's 19. So shout-outs to Paper Ghost 19, who guessed 19. Kudos on your number choice.
Yeah, it's like it was almost by fate that... The Paper Ghost 19 was in chat to guess 19 when it was actually 19.
Yep, that was the only 19 in chat as well. So there you go.
Okay, so yeah, WallKicks is also checking the inside of Hookshot Cave for potential another sword. We find out that there was just a red rupee in that last chest, and he is going to also grab the tempered sword, which, you know, you mentioned Master Sword Silver's not too bad, but I'd still personally rather do tempered sword silvers as well, just to, again, not worry about all those spin attacks.
Oh yeah, I most definitely would too, but I've seen a lot of runners of this caliber just kind of pass it up and go, oh, I'll be fine.
And with that, Rywek enters the gauntlets. With Butter Sword, these enemies will be going down very, very quick. Just has to get to them. There's a lot of RNG with how the enemies move in this section, so sometimes they can be annoying, other times they can just go right towards you. It really, really, really depends. This is definitely the very heavily skill section of the Ganon's Tower climb.
Yeah, Rywek playing about 3 rounds of Ring Around the BMOS there.
Mm-hmm. So here we go, land mode 2.
Oh yeah, there wasn't even a small key here, so going right isn't really an option.
Could still do some Dark Magician strats though, so not gonna rule out that entirely at least. But well,
Yeah,
still
I've
have to
been
go
seeing
through
a
this
lot of
office
that.
room.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that with the new version. I've seen a lot of people do Dark Magician, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it looks like we are going to get the same route out of WallKicks. So this is officially going to be Rywek's race to lose, and it's going to take more than one Ganon fall to do so.
Yeah, again, he will have a longer Ganon fight no matter what due to not having silvers, but yeah, still has a pretty comfortable lead at this point heading into the final few rooms of Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, and Butter Sword Silverless honestly isn't that bad. You're still pretty much guaranteed the 1-in-1, and you only need 12 spins to finish them off, so...
Mm-hmm. Okay, he takes down Moldorm very, very quickly. Gonna hook shot over here. I mean, he is still essentially looking for silvers, so opens it up. Just finds a red boomerang, though, so not gonna really help him for the rest of this run.
Why couldn't the chest have at least given us the good boomerang?
Well, WallKicks did find the blue boomerang somewhere. So that's why it couldn't have been that one, but...
Yeah, that's fair. This first set from Aghanim not being great. Second set has a little more promise. There you go. Nice double. Yeah, third set being not fun and a blue ball just to make things extra not fun. There we go.
Using the hook shot very aggressively to make sure he stays down.
Alright, so equally terrifying boss fights here. WallKicks has Armos on ice and Rywek has Ganon. Apparently we were supposed to bring food. If only we hadn't turned in that mushroom earlier.
Okay, well, Rywek is on phase 3, doesn't have too much longer to go, just 4 hits here, and then starts the silver strats.
And let the spin cycle commence. Alright, WallKicks grabs his GT Big Key. Rywek is just a little under halfway done at this point.
Just a few more to go. There it is.
Alright, so presuming that Rywek can get through this lovely little bridge here, we can go ahead and get GDs in chat for him. And there we go.
And with that, Rywek has finished in first place with official SRL time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 23 seconds. Looks like for right now, WallKicks is going to be continuing his run of GT through the gauntlets.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Only a couple minutes left, so shouldn't be too bad.
So with this, Rywek will be entering Game 2 with a win under his belt, which means if he does achieve victory here, he will move on to the quote-unquote winners part of their group bracket, which is essentially the finals. So if Rywek wins the next match, advances on, and then wins that set, he will be one of the 64 participants entered into the bracket stage of this tournament. So it must feel nice to get at least an early advantage under your belt. And like I said before, we'll be getting Game 2 right after this, so stick around if you want to see how that goes. Maybe WallKicks can even bring it back.
Yeah, game 3s are always fun, so I always hope for more rando. Always more rando.
And it's also worth mentioning that WallKicks will also be able to change a game settings toggle along with that game too. As far as the different types of toggles, you can do something where you can change Defeat Ganon to Fast Ganon. You can change it so you can make it 6 crystals enter GT and 6 crystals to beat Ganon. There's also Map and Compass Shuffle as well, where you can basically put maps and compasses into the general item pool, much like how it works in Key Sanity, but without the added frustration of Key Sanity. All the keys will still be in their rightful dungeons. So we'll have to stay tuned to see what he picks for that match.
Yeah, there's a couple options here, as WallKicks somehow misses that full magical decanter the first time. Moldorm 2 not posing much of a threat with Butter Sword. I think WallKicks may have just seen the dot done.
Yeah, I think that is the case.
I mean, at this point, just finish it, man. You've only got a couple minutes. Nope. Alright. Looks like we're just getting ready for the second game.
Okay, so yeah, he is going to go ahead and dot forfeit. And I do have the information here. It looks like it is going to be a map and compass shuffle. That is going to be WallKicks' setting that he's choosing. So game 2 will start not too long from now. It's currently scheduled for 6 p.m. Might start a little bit later due to all the setup involved and everything. But yeah, definitely decide to come back and watch game 2. It'll be on this channel, so you don't have to go anywhere. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for game 1.
Cool. I'm almost positive at this point we are not going to get an interview, so we're probably just going to be waiting for the credits to finish up here on Rywek's side.
Yeah, being that both of our runners have to be on the 20-minute delay, I'm assuming the race is like starting like literally right now, so would be unable to probably do an interview while they're actually racing the next seat. So no interview here, but there may be an interview at the end of game 2, so stick around for that as well. Also want to give a big thank you to Linkforce, our tracker for this match. We had a lot of difficulty with getting this match going due to the Discord outage we had when this race started, even before that. So it was really nice of him to kind of keep track of all the items, made sure they were kept up to date when we finally got in the commentary booth here, and did a great job of tracking everything. And of course, my partner in the commentary booth, Hammer Bro, thank you for jumping in and joining me on this. It was a pretty interesting race to watch. Both runners very, very close for a big part of the seed. Really just came down to that decision by Rywek to jump out of pod instead of finish it and get kind of that early start on checking more of the overworld and find those remaining items to put them in go mode. So decisions like that, they can really turn a race around in Randomizer, and we'll see if it happens again in game 2 or if WallKicks decides to put up a bigger defense and get game 2 himself.
Yep, so that being said, I don't have a whole lot further to say about this race. From what I saw, but it wasn't too bad, but I was kind of running around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to get Discord running, so I saw bits and pieces of the beginning, but probably not as much as I should have. We did end up with pretty much a full inventory, so this seed wasn't terribly friendly in terms of giving us things early.
Yeah, definitely not. And of course, a big thank you to everyone in chat for being patient with all the stuff at the beginning, with the no commentary and all the Discord weirdness and everything. Sometimes, as much as we love technology, technology can still lead to many disasters and other inconveniences. So thank you for being patient with us, and hope you guys enjoyed Game 2. Game 2, like I said, happening on this channel right after this, so stick around. Probably around a 6 o'clock start time, so don't have to wait too long. So
Yeah, I believe they started just a couple minutes ago, so with the 20-minute delay, they're probably going to be a minute or two late. We should be starting at about 6:01, 6:02 on the dot.
okay, cool, sounds good. So I'm gonna go ahead and start stepping out of here. This has been Slim Kirby. Thank you all for watching. Hammer Bro, maybe we'll discuss some other rando games in the future, and yeah, see you guys later.
Yep, as always, it was a blast. To all the rest of you, may your seeds not be ped seeds, and if they are ped seeds or similarly terrible, may they at least be funny to go with it. Have a good night.